Hey, dude. So you really expect me to believe that you never podcasted or did any kind of radio before? Really? Come on. I'm not an idiot, dude.
Old friend of mine, something like that. Hey everybody, this is Vince. You're catching up with Vince. Me and Kai went to high school together, and back in high school we were acquaintances. One day when I was a manager at ShopRite, I see him come into the store, and he pops in, he goes, hey, we kind of caught up a little bit. Turns out he needed a job, and he asked me for a job. Sure enough, boom, got him a job.
It was the panic of, oh my God, I just got my first apartment. How the hell am I going to afford this? So I was like, oh, I'll go work at a grocery store, part-time. It's flexible hours. And I walk in and I'm like, oh, good, I know this guy. We can make this work.
Well, it's advertised as flexible hours. As you came to find out, the hours weren't as flexible as you thought.
Nah, but knowing you helped,
Yeah, definitely
hey, I'm going to be an hour late. All right, cool. But no, it was cool. It was like it was a brief period of panic. When you move out and you get your own place and you're like, you sit down and you get all your bills and I'm going to wipe through my savings. You're just scared. So working at ShopRite for 6 months kind of helped me realize, all right, if I budget myself, I don't have to do this second job.
Yeah.
And it was a good stepping stone. So you were a pivotal point in my life.
Yeah.
And it actually snowballed from there because we kind of bounced life ideas off of each other there. It was like a spiritual thing almost when we went to ShopRite. I wasn't a cashier. I was almost like hey man, I got an idea. What do you think about this?
It was a good time. You came in and got your job, and from there we became friends.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing, and we really got along really well. And from there, like you said, business opportunities, different things came about.
Yeah. All the incubatory stages of what you're doing right now were something that we would sit and talk about while I was supposed to be ringing up customers. I'm reading business propositions and stuff. It was pretty funny, but it all worked out.
Yeah, it's funny how you have an idea for something, you head towards it, and then once you get to your goal, you don't even realize what's on the other side of that.
Right.
Because you hit your goal, and then it's like, all right,
what now? What?
Well, now what?
Yeah.
Exactly. So now I'm in the process of developing an app. I have this podcast, which I have.
We're networking with the same people.
Yeah.
Sasso gave us a great interview. My God, he's dropping off a cell, I guess it's called in the animation world. That's the proper term. He drew me and my brother Tyler in as if we were in an episode of Ren and Stimpy.
Oh wow.
So yeah, we have that to hang up in the studio. Which I don't know if you remember what the studio looked like last time, but we'll have you in again to catch up and do a little bit more with you because you're doing more now that we want to help you promote. So
yeah, definitely. It's funny because you were the first and only podcast I've ever been on.
Wow.
And now here I am doing my own podcast, and guess who my first guest is?
That's right.
That's right. All right.
Got it. Dude, podcasting is going to open a lot of doors for you if you do it right. And do it right. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm some professional, but we hit 50 episodes 2 weeks ago.
Congrats. That's huge.
Yeah, it's
50 episodes. How long have you been doing it?
2 years, almost 2 years. We have met so many cool people and gotten so many cool things just from content. And the cool thing is, you tell somebody, hey, listen to my show. If you want to be part of it, we'll talk what we can do for each other.
Yeah. And
basically when somebody writes back and says, hey, I listened to the show, we'll do this for you. Like we had a beer sponsor. They gave us 2 cases of beer every quarter. That's just another person believing in you. You know what I mean? And we can get into sports figures in a little bit, but
sure.
Like Riley Cote.
Yeah.
Let's
talk about Riley.
He was a pivotal point in our podcast because I had wrote, and it's all about opportunity and knowing when to jump or stay on the diving board. I had hernia surgery last year. You remember that. Mm-hmm. I was out of work for 2 weeks, and I was sitting right here in this chair, and I said, you know what? What the hell am I doing? I'm sitting here watching home improvement reruns. I said, I could be emailing people, scheduling shit, booking shit, networking. I don't know how you feel about cursing.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah. So I wrote to a hockey player named Zach Ronaldo. He used to play for the Flyers. He got bumped down to the AHL because he was too violent and rough, and he was getting, suspended every game here and there. Then the Bruins picked him up, and then he got suspended. So I'm like, this guy is trying to make a name for himself in the NHL. He's booted, he's in the sidelines right now. This would be a perfect opportunity to talk to him, see if he wants to right his wrongs and come on and talk to us about whatever. Like just, talk about hockey, talk about his career. So I wrote to him, and he came on. No problem. You know, he gave me, he texted me, 609 number. I'm like, what the hell? You live right here.
Pile of text.
You know, so I'm texting him, talking to him. We have him on the show, and he mentions Riley Cote, and who's a flyer, who I'm a big fan of Riley. I loved watching him. So I talked to Zach Ronaldo. He came on the show. He talked to us about a lot of things and how Riley Cote helped him change his lifestyle and his whole path of thought. And after the interview, I texted Zach. I said, you know, we had a really good interview. I said, I don't want you to think anything wrong from this request. I said, but do you have Riley's contact information? I'd really like to talk to him.
Damn.
So he gives me his email, and I sent a text to him, and Riley was like, yeah, sure. You know, I'd love to, you know, help you guys out. You know, small startup podcast. You know, we had only had a couple guests on. You know, we'll talk about that later. But Riley came on and talked to us, and he gave us so much information and taught us so many things. His episode of telling us about the history of hemp was crazy. I was sitting, my mind was blown. Like, he talked to us for 10 minutes. I felt like I learned a whole semester worth of shit about hemp.
Yeah.
And
it was so funny because he is, you know, the owner of Hemp Heals. I was at the Business of Cannabis Chamber of Commerce event in Monroe 2 days ago, and he was the guest speaker. You know, as he's speaking, he's like, all right, so I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about how hemp has helped my life and all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden he's showing hockey fights on the TV.
Yeah. Oh my God,
He's like, this is a little bit about me, and all of a sudden it's hockey fights on the screen. I'm like, wow, I didn't expect to see this at a Business of Cannabis meeting in Forest Gate Country Club in Monroe, New Jersey.
Yeah. I buy his product, Reception Naturals. He gave me like this little code, like, hey, I want you to try it. Here, enter this code for 20% off. I bought my dad some CBD oil. I take CBD oil. A lot of cool things. And then what he did, I texted him, and I said, hey, we would like to have you back on the show another time. You know, it was really cool to have you. We'd like you to be a friend of the show, like a reoccurring guest. Whenever you have anything you want to promote, all of our guests, like I told you, you have anything new that you want people to know about, just call us. We'll schedule an interview with you. Because the beauty of podcasting is we can just record an interview and plug it in and build an episode around it and plug it for your event. Let's
time out. Let's Full Slice Podcast.
Yeah, okay.
Seip, Full Slice. We didn't even get to that point yet.
Yeah.
But this is Kyle Seip. He owns the Full Slice Podcast. What else you got going on?
Our Instagram, we're pushing to try and get to 10,000 followers by the end of the year.
Congrats.
Even though the year just started, you know, by the end of the year, we're at like 9,900 right now. So if you're listening, follow Full Slice Podcast on Instagram, which social media is a huge thing. You know, we still have to do our Facebook and get that all out there. But we have listeners in 5 continents, so we're killing it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you.
We love it. It's changed everything. We got beer for free. We got concerts for free. And people, the funny thing is people are like, you know, are you making any money? That's the last thing I'm thinking about. Yeah. Because as soon as anything becomes about money, it takes the fun out of it for me. Yeah, because it's like a job then. What we're doing is we're parlaying interviews for goods and services in a way. You know what I mean?
If you do things for money, you're not doing it for the right reasons.
Right.
You know, like, it takes the soul out of whatever it is that occupation is. You know, like,
correct.
That's what I found as far as like doctors and lawyers go. Mm-hmm. Because doctors at one point wanted to heal. Lawyers at one point wanted to fight for the people that didn't have a voice. Now all of a sudden people see the opportunity as far as dollars go, and they just chase those dollars.
Right.
And then the things lose their soul. And
the passion falls out of it.
And that's how you get lawyers, you know, after Columbine happens, asking if they want to sue the school.
Right.
It's just not right. Go ahead. Where were we?
So anyway, Riley Cote, I texted him and I said, you know, we'd love to have you back on, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, hey, you know, I'm having an event over at Festival Pier in Philly. Hemp Heals is sponsoring a concert. I need a couple hands to help me out.
Awesome.
To sell some, you know, work at the Hemp Heals tent. And I said, all right, I'll come.
Yeah.
We sold out of like half the shit he had. And he was like, this was great. Like, you did, like, I was wheeling and dealing. Like, hey, you give me 2 shirts, I'll give you this much off. And I was like, is that okay, Riley? You're like, yeah, do it.
Just get it out, sure.
So, dude, we sold like 200-300 shirts at the event. He's like, you can come back and help me anytime you want, you know. Awesome. And I said, we'll talk about Hemp Heals on the podcast. We'll talk about Reception Naturals on the podcast. You know, let's make stuff happen.
Yeah.
So a couple other events at Festival Pier, he said, hey, I'll leave some tickets for you. I was supposed to help him. You know, this says a lot about who he is. There was an event, it was a Sublime concert, and they were with Offspring, and I was supposed to help him hand out flyers for Hemp Heals at his tent.
Flyers,
Yeah, flyers, yeah. No, flyers for Hemp Heals. And he goes, the day of the venue, or the day of the concert, he goes, I can't make it tonight. I had a death in my wife's family or something like that. He goes, but I know you were going to come, so I left a couple tickets with your name on it at will call.
Oh,
you know, take a friend, a couple friends, whatever, just give them my name and have a good night.
Awesome.
I thought to myself, that's pretty cool. He didn't have to do that.
Stand-up guy, definitely.
very stand-up guy, and if you can get him on your show, if I can help you get him on, or whatever, we can do it. He's a great guy. He's doing so many good things. And the cool thing about it is my family has really deep roots in farming. You know, I'm a blue-collar guy. I weld for a living. You know what I mean? I work for a welding shop. His company is promoting all of this farming. You know, acres and acres of hemp is allowed to be farmed in Pennsylvania now.
Yeah, I can't wait till it comes to Jersey.
Exactly. Yeah, really. Part of his movement. He's been a pivotal role in that. So anything that can promote farming and I mean, I know you dabbled in real estate, but anything that can prevent these, you know, more neighborhoods popping up where a farm could be, I'm all for it.
It's funny because when I went to this Chamber of Commerce meeting where he was a speaker, it's almost like I saw a renaissance. You know what I mean? Like there were so many minds that wanted to bring forth so many brilliant ideas. Like, you know what I mean? Like I have a vegan food truck, which is kind of progressive. You know, I'm trying to push this vegan agenda, this vegan movement.
Yeah.
And then I was actually waiting to speak with Riley, and I opened our little crowd up, and there were a few other people chatting with us.
Yeah.
And there was this one guy out of somewhere in the same area, somewhere around here. What he does is he grows his own vegetation, and then from there, all the waste he has, he's trying to convert it into bioplastic.
Is his name Jay? Was it Resilient Farms?
I don't remember.
I know a guy that's doing that, and he's from Jersey.
With the letter A. If you can hook me up with that guy, I'd love to talk with him too.
Yeah, definitely. I'll give you his contact information. We're going to have him on the show, actually.
Awesome. Exactly. Those are the kind of people I want on this show. You know,
dude, a farmer is... Some of the smartest people in this world are farmers.
Yeah.
People that know how to take dirt and make money with it. You know what I mean? Like that's
right.
that's the epitome of success. To take the earth, you know, which is pretty much what you're doing with your vegan movement. And
well, actually, I'm starting another company. I don't know if I told you about that. This one's called Forever Farms.
Yeah, you told me the hydroponic thing you're trying to do.
Yeah, aeroponic.
Yeah.
At this Chamber of Commerce meeting, I met someone that, you know, might be integral into the success of that. So it's
good.
It's crazy how like one piece of growth, like for you doing the podcast,
one
piece of growth leads to so many other pieces of growth.
Yeah.
It's like the most insane thing.
The other thing with the podcast, we had a couple. We said no politics, no religion, you know,
rules,
guidelines, and we also every episode we wanted to try and do something that would benefit other people because we're not trying to make money. Me and my brother never really got along growing up. Now we finally are.
I had no idea. I would have never told.
Not bad, but
you were older and you beat him up.
Yeah, no, not really. Yeah, it just we never saw common ground on too many things, and this podcast has kind of just got us on the same level, and with just. Sasso, like Frank Sasso, one of our guests that we had on, he goes, I can't teach you guys anything. I have a service that helps podcasts. He goes, and I can't do anything for you guys.
Yeah, you guys doing it.
He goes, I want to be part of it, actually. He goes, I just want to work with you guys.
Good for you.
And he told us, he goes, your show reminds me of Opie and Anthony. I said, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I thought about it. I said, it's all right. You know, that was a decent compliment.
No, man, they're fucking trailblazers, those guys.
They were like pioneers of radio.
They did something new, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, they just stopped getting along.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny because you and I both watched that. Here's the thing about watching too much radio or too much of one thing. It's like their voices get in your head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, it was like I had Opie and Anthony and Jimmy's voice in my head the whole time.
Yeah.
It kind of all fell apart there.
Yeah.
You know, it's too bad.
Anthony's doing good. He's got Compound Media. We actually had Bobo on the show.
You had Bobo on your show.
Yeah, Daniel Bobo.
How did that? Tell me about that.
I reached out to him on Twitter. His mother had an accident. I don't know if you remember his mom being part of his interviews and stuff like that. His mom had an accident. She fell and broke her hip and got real hurt. And her only source from income was Bobo. And that's not happening. So I reached out to him. I said, listen, Daniel, I've listened to you on Opie and Anthony. I followed you on Twitter this whole time. I've never reached out to you. Let's talk about your mom's GoFundMe. Give me a little bit about Opie and Anthony back in the day. And let's just talk. And he said, that would be great. So he comes on, gave us a great interview, gave us the background on a couple really good skits that he did. He was a good interview. I'd like to have him back, really. I mean, he's a nice guy. He's very cool. I would take him to a Mets game in a heartbeat. Who else did we have? We just had, speaking of back to Riley Cote, this whole thing's back on him. He hooked us up. Well, not hooked us up, but I reached out to a Flyers Hall of Famer who knows Riley from different charity events. And I saw that they were having an event at Iceland over here in Mercer County, which is right by.
I haven't heard that name since like the 90s.
Yeah, Iceland skating rink.
God.
They put together an alumni game for some charity that Brian Propp owns or runs. And I reached out to Brian Propp. I said, "Hi, Brian. My name is Kyle. I have a Full Slice podcast in Allentown, New Jersey, and we'd like to help promote your event because Iceland is the next town over. You know, I see. You know, you can ask Riley Cote. You can reference him, Zach Ronaldo. We're legit. I'm not gonna blow your phone up. I'm not gonna blow your email up. If you want to do it, here's my contact information. That's what you have to do. Yeah. You don't bombard them. You kind of just say, here's the paper. Read it. Yeah, here's definitely. The number. Called us up. Gave us a great interview. It's, you know, I had Brian Prop hockey cards growing up. It was like a hero. So next is Ron Hextall, the only goalie to score, or one of only 2 goalies to ever score goals in NHL history. He's a Broad Street Bull. He's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. Good for you, man. It's so amazing that you used your voice to do all this. Yeah, 2 computers in my parents' basement. Yeah, that's right? Crazy. Yeah, with all your old Nickelodeon stuff. Well, my brother likes the Nickelodeon angle. Yeah, it's fun. It's reminiscent of like a better, not a better time, but what the 90s were. That's a nostalgic time for sure. I mean, who doesn't want to relive their childhood? Dude, you went outside. You got to play hockey with your friends, like roller hockey. You just walk outside. Yeah, dude. Oh my God. I don't know if you know, the neighborhood that I grew up in Allentown was one of the oldest neighborhoods in Allentown, back behind the lake. Yeah. The houses have been there since, World War II. But they built that bigger neighborhood, Galloping Brook. I remember when they were building those houses. Get out. We would go play in them, like the frame. Like your parents would just open the door and let you out. The whole world was outside of that door. Yeah, that's funny, man. They would let us out, and we would go to that neighborhood where they had the houses that were framed, and we would climb around in them and stuff like that, and play in the put our hands in the concrete and shit. And I remember we went in one of the houses where it was just the framework of the house, and the steps to go to the second story were above the steps that went to the basement. So if you fell from like the second story down to the basement. Oh my God! So nowadays it's different. It's really different. Yeah, I mean, if you want to look at it that way as well, there's not even anywhere that's like developing like that anymore. Mm-mm. Like it's all slowed down. As far as New Jersey goes, New Jersey's all overdeveloped, and then so overdeveloped that the older houses are just abandoned. Yeah. You see that down like Route 18 as far as shopping malls go. Dude, too. Route 18 looks like Detroit. Some places of it. You drive through, you're like, what the hell happened here? Yeah, it's crazy. There really needs to be, and then right down the street they're building a new one. Yeah, doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. We're just heading the wrong direction. I mean, I have the same perspective as Bill Burr when it comes to the bankers, but it's nuts. They're giving loans to people they know can't pay them back. They're giving property to people they know that can't pay for it. Well, you think about it. A car costs $32,000. Yeah, how? When people are making $50,000, they expect them to buy a house and pay off college loans. Yeah. No, like, oh my God, this is why JFK was assassinated. They're trying to make slaves out of every American citizen, man, woman, and child. That's that comment that got me bumped off of Facebook for 2 weeks last year. Is it going to get me off iTunes too? No. I said I'm one of the few people that thinks the president doesn't matter. Like, we're not going to get political here, but I'm going to tell you. I have my own views. Go ahead. I think that the president doesn't matter. I think it's the president's job to do whoever put him there, tell him to do. Dude, and if he doesn't do it, they're going to warm up the convertible in Dallas. If you believe that our best 2 people qualified for president were Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, yeah, like come on, man, like it doesn't matter. I feel like the older generation is just so, they've been living it their whole life. Kind of like your parents say, go out, get a job, work for 40 years, and then retire. Whereas we say, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, are you nuts? You work for a company 2 years, you quit, you get a higher paying job. Yeah. Or you figure out what you're doing. Right. Because this system has gone so out of control at this point. It's like, well, it boils down to the people that are actually making the laws and stuff are things we don't even vote on. I'll give you some books. You want some books? You got like the Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission, the Council of Foreign Relations. These are the people that are making the rules that change the world. You want to go down this direction? You want to talk about all this shit? Hey, if you want to, I'll dance. I would love to. Oh, I'll do it. Yeah. Because there's all kinds of books there. Yeah, man. People get so amped up that Donald Trump he said shithole countries. It doesn't matter. People are surprised that Donald Trump is being Donald Trump. Yeah. It's like it's so far beyond it's a show. It's literally a show. It's a new episode of the United States. You really think about it. If you boil it down to what we have right now, we have a man in the White House. He's doing my 401k is through the roof. I can't lie. I can't tell you. I actually just took all my money out of the stock market because I see the trend and it's spiking. It's going so high up that it has to collapse. Yeah, you move it into different things. I'm not saying immediately, but I'm saying the next 2-3 years. But it always will. Well,
as far as my life goes, I'd rather invest all the money I have in a stock market to what I'm doing with my life rather than
what other companies are doing with their lives.
Right.
Yeah, okay, that's one way to look at it. Yeah.
And there's also a problem with companies that go public. Because as soon as a company goes public, like Steve Jobs, he had this brilliant idea for Apple. He was a visionary.
Yeah.
As a visionary, not everything you do is going to be financially, it's not going to make money right away.
Right.
But the things you do make money later on. So when you have people, when things go into the stock market is just an insatiable need for money.
Right.
It's just a need for money because the only people that put money in the stock market are people that are putting money to make money.
Right.
They're not putting money because they believe in your company.
No.
They're putting money in it because they want to make money.
Yeah.
So that's all that matters from then on. And you see what happened to Apple since he died. Like, the iPhone hasn't changed.
No,
the iPhone hasn't even changed a little bit.
No. That's true. But, you know, from a I'm making money perspective, that's one way to look at it. But a lot of companies are doing good. There's companies coming back to America that were outsourced. You had Ford, Carrier, Train, a lot of them that went outsourced to Mexico and India and stuff that are coming back. He's doing okay things. Yeah. Is he the most qualified candidate? No. In my opinion, no. He once had to decide if Brett Michaels or Cyndi Lauper was the best CEO for a company that doesn't exist. That's what he had to do at one point. My thing was what he did to the unions in Atlantic City. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he's had a history. He's like 70 years old.
But at the same time, I genuinely think he cares about industrialization and industrial revolution.
He cares about the wrong stuff, man. He cares about stuff that is still he cares about industries that already exist.
Right.
Whereas a forward-thinking president should look into industries that don't exist yet and make them big.
Yeah.
Because if we put this Keystone pipeline through, not only do you have to pay for the pipeline, but it has to stay in service long enough for the company to make money once it's made that investment.
Right. Once it's paid for it being done and built.
That's something that we got to keep in mind. This BP is investing this much money in renewable oil. Like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like, go fuck yourself. Why don't you invest the money in wind power, in water power, in solar power,
alternate fuel sources?
Just, I'm sure there's a way to tap into the roots of plants to get the energy that they've converted from photosynthesis.
Well, yeah, that guy that created that engine that you could go from New York to California
on like a gallon of water.
13 gallons of water. We ran that story on the podcast, and we played a gunshot noise every time he said something that the Pentagon would feel threatened by.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm surprised you're not shot too.
Oh my God!
Weren't his last words like they poisoned me in
a
restaurant or some
shit
like that?
Yep, yeah.
Yo, man, that's
oh
crazy.
My God, he was nuts. He's like, the guy was if you heard him talk, you'd think there's no way this guy invented it. He'd be like, you could put snow in it, you could put salt water in it, you could pee in it. Like, what? And when you have something that the Pentagon wants and you say no, your days are numbered.
Yeah. Well, he just wanted to spread the information. You know what I mean? Like, he just wanted people to know how to build it.
Yeah, but he wanted to hold the patent, and the government didn't want it. Or didn't want him to have the patent. They wanted it. So they could mass produce it. You're messing with the Illuminati there. The fuel companies, ExxonMobil, and all that shit. As soon as if you figure out how to take out the biggest companies, the government's going to step in.
So looking at this whole mess, looking at this whole play out, right? I've been a quote unquote conspiracy theorist as long as I can remember.
Me too.
I mean? Like,
some stuff, not too far down the rabbit hole, but
yeah,
I do.
Far enough to like question things. I don't know what's real, so I keep everything with an open mind.
Question what is, yeah.
So yeah, as I was saying, I've been following these conspiracy theories as far as I can remember, and it's almost like every conspiracy theory you knew about is coming to fruition. Like, oh, Hollywood is full of pedophilia, and like, there's all this satanic worshiping, and there's all this like, before you know it, it's like Hollywood's collapsing, it's crumbling before our eyes, it's literally on fire. You know what I mean? It's almost like this is the rapture or ascension. As the evil is being burned in hell, which is going on in Hollywood right now. Yeah. There's also like this meeting that I had where there's just this renaissance of people just spreading information and knowledge. People like Riley talking about, hemp, and if we can grow hemp and people started, smoking weed and perhaps even doing psychedelics, we would see a change in consciousness on this planet within 2 or 3 generations. Yeah. Easy.
Weed's coming here though, man. We got it now. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, that's why I went to this meeting,
Did you read his whole proposal? Like what the new governor's going to do? How it's going to play out?
I haven't looked into it that far.
I looked at it. how he's going to tax it. It's going to start at 15%, then 17, then 20, then 25. He's going to get us on the wheel. Everybody that wants to get edibles and, I love these gummy bears, If you look at the numbers like Colorado, their first year, they were in triple-digit million, like $300-400 million in surplus from taxes just from that. Imagine what that would do for this state.
New Jersey's so much bigger than there,
The amount of people, space.
Right, of course.
Per capita.
Right.
Dude, I bet you the first year from when it's legalized to the anniversary of it being legalized, $500 million. I'm saying it right now.
This one guy had an awesome question. So right now there's one medical marijuana facility in New Jersey. Well, one main one. And they have about 7,000 clients. So this guy asked a question. He had a family member who's using this medical marijuana card. He said, once this is legal, what's going to happen to the dispensary?
Right.
Because it's going to just blow up.
It'll just turn into a store.
The people that have had the cards and need it, they're not going to be able to get it because there's going to be this influx of people. So they have to figure out how to open dispensaries before the market explodes. And the fact that a license for this thing, the application's like $100,000, and then you have to pay you have to have $2 million worth of cash.
Talk about a stock to invest in. Talk about a pharmaceutical company that grows it. And once they go public, imagine that money.
Well, there are medical marijuana. There are marijuana stocks, MJNA.
I use an app called Robinhood, and none of them.
Yeah. I've used Robinhood before.
I like it. You don't have to pay to trade. You can get your money right away. Your money goes right in. They trust you.
Yeah.
You go ahead and buy some stocks.
Yeah.
If your money doesn't trade, we'll take them. Or if your money doesn't clear from the bank, we'll take them back.
Yeah, I've seen that. But I've used Robinhood and I've used TD. Robinhood it's lightning fast. You know what I mean? Like
Excellent
you said.
stock.
But it doesn't have access to all the stocks. It doesn't have like penny stocks listed on other markets.
Right.
But it is a solid app.
Yeah, I like it.
You just click on it. You just sell your stuff. You get your stuff instantly.
How about Amazon? That post I put on Instagram the other day did you put it on there or did I steal it? I might have saw it on somewhere else.
It's not. Yeah.
Usually I do the meme courtesy text like, "Hey man, I'm going to steal that meme."
Yeah.
But I might have saw it somewhere else.
No, it's all good.
Jeff Bezos in his little office there. Dude, that guy in his little corner office with his vinyl banner, Amazon, in this shitty suit, just sitting there.
So I saw that and I stared at it for. Dude, it had to be like 2 or 3 minutes.
My God.
Just like reflecting in where I started.
Yeah.
Everyone who's done this shit has started in the same place.
Talk about where you started. I'll never forget, back at ShopRite, you texted me, you said, "Hey, are you working tonight?" I said, "Yeah." And you said, "I just finished my business, the business model."
Yeah, my what the fuck do you call that?
Proposition, model, whatever.
My business... The fuck? It took me forever. It was 40 pages long. I can't remember what it's called now. That's so funny.
You had 6 pages that you had written out, and I read it, and I thought to myself, man, a vegan food truck, that's ballsy.
Yeah.
I was like, man.
But in 2015, especially, before there was a market for it.
Yeah.
There wasn't even a market back then.
And I'm like, man, this, you know what? It's ballsy. I thought it was cool. I was honored. I want you to read it. I want to see what you think. When I went to the food class, when I would do the class.
Oh God, with Sean, Chef Sean, he's gonna be on the show definitely.
He was a cool dude.
Yeah, he's got an interesting mind.
I'll never forget reading that and thinking, you know what, I can't lie to him. I can't say, I don't know about that whole vegan thing and try to be tough about it. But I told you, I was like, I think this is cool. I think you should go for it.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
Oh yeah.
Because 2015 and prior, it was 1% of the population. 2015 to 2017, it spiked to 6%.
Mm-hmm.
6% of the population. So that's kind of the movement I'm trying to do. I'm trying to see if we can get to 20% of the population by 2020.
Wow.
So that's my new movement, 20 by 2020. And from what you can see, just from observing your own family or your own friends, that's 1 in 5 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people are just now waking up to it. As far as my life goes, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I do have a food truck, I have a clothing line, I have a did you know sign on my truck, I have a meal delivery service, I have an app, I have a YouTube channel. I'm trying to promote this message as far as I can. Not taking any credit, but I see where this is heading regardless of my interference with it.
Yeah, that's what you have to do with anything you believe in. That you run into the castle and you see how long you can stay in there. Yeah, I think it's cool, man. I came out and saw you at a couple events, tried the falafel wrap and smoothies, the portobello burger. I think it's cool, man. And I see all the shit you're doing. You're going to all these, these concerts and EDM shows and stuff like that. You were at Governor's Ball.
Dude, it's like when I was 22, 23, I would pay to go to these things. I would love going to music festivals. Then I was cast in darkness. I was sent into retail prison, working 6 days a week,
Yeah.
9 hours a day. I never thought I would have another glimpse of the light. I never thought I would ever go to another music festival ever. Like, ever. So that was really... Music means so much to me, man. Like,
Me
music,
too, dude. Yeah.
Music means so much to me, and being able to go watch it and enjoy it with my friends, it means so much. I never thought I would have it again. And then all of a sudden, I start this food truck, and I'm going there not only for free, I'm getting paid
Dude,
to go
we're
with my
both
friends.
doing it. I didn't pay for a whole concert last year. Neither did you.
Right?
People believe in us enough to the point where we can enjoy what we like to do while we're doing our hobby, our movement. Like, I believe in this podcast so much to get to people to have a place to talk and to enjoy life with my brother and get along with him and stuff. And then people are paying for tickets and taking care of us to go to concerts just for us to be there. Like, for you to be there. They want you there. They believe in your product. And when somebody believes in you, it's such that motivation. Somebody just be like, yeah, man, what this guy's doing is cool. I want him to be here. I want him to be part of this. That's enough fuel in and of itself. Forget the money. You know what I mean? And it all goes back to fuck the money.
It's never really about the money. For me anyway, it's never really about... I learned that the hard way. Because I became a manager, a retail manager, because I saw the money. A store manager could make $100,000, $200,000, which is a good amount of money. But then I realized no amount of money was worth that much of my time.
No,
exactly. If I have that much money, I'm not going to have any time to spend it.
Right.
So I do things... My life is... I'm free, man. Like, I'm free. I am free as a bird. I can do what I want when I want. I do... You know what I mean? Like, I do a lot. Like, I have a lot of shit that I do. But... I do it whenever I want.
Right. You can
like a podcast right now. You just hit me up. Yo, what are you doing? Let's fucking do a podcast.
I talked to you. You said, hey, I'm doing a podcast. I was like, hey, if you ever need anybody. And you're like, yeah, you're on my list or whatever. You said you had a list of people you wanted to talk to. And apparently I was on it. You said you had a list of people you wanted to talk to, and I was on this list.
Yeah.
Why? Can you tell me why? Because I'm still thinking why.
Why? Well, first of all, you're the first person whose podcast I've ever been on, and only podcast I've ever been on.
Okay.
Number two, you're my friend, and I want to talk to you because we haven't talked in a while.
Yeah.
So I have this whole list of there's celebrities on this list, there's entrepreneurs on this list, there's friends on this list, there's just everyone throughout my life. Those are the people I want to talk to. You know what I mean, man? It's it's not about getting the big name. It's about who has a story, and I know you have a story.
I know.
So that's why I have you on.
All kinds. Yeah. You got to pick one.
Yeah, that's the toughest part.
Yeah, it's hard. But, my philosophy in life is that no matter how hard you have it or how hard you think you have it, somebody else has it worse than you.
Definitely. All the time.
So that's kind of what I've gone through. I learned that from family members and stuff like that. But I think that podcasting is a great way to network with people. I don't know. I've had some great, crazy experiences. My favorite band is Parkway Drive. Hardcore band from Australia. They've been around since 2002. They're like the Beatles of hardcore. Buddy of mine on Facebook got a band too, and I liked his band and talked to him over the years. Just a Facebook friend who's from California. All of a sudden, I find out that he is the manager of Parkway Drive. So I say, okay, now's perfect timing. They're coming to New Jersey. Javier, do you want to come on my podcast? Yeah, man, no problem. I heard that you started one. I'd love to do it. Talk to him about his band and what they're doing, and then say, hey, you're managing Parkway Drive. How the hell did that come to be? This and that and this and that. I said, hey, we'll plug the show. We would love to plug the show. They're playing in Boston, Philly, New York, and Starland Ballroom. We'd love to promote the show for you. He goes, yeah, no problem, do that, and we'll put you on the guest list for the show in Sayreville. So I said, okay, cool. So I'm like, cool, I'm getting to go see Parkway Drive for free.
Yeah.
I pull up. I'd give my name at the door for will call tickets. They're like, oh, come with us.
Wow.
We went around the back. They gave us this sticker. You got to stick on your leg, and it just was all access. There was this band called We Came as Romans in the room, and we go up this special staircase to this room, and we walk in, and they're from Australia. They don't know anybody from New Jersey.
Yeah.
So it was me and my buddy and Parkway Drive.
Wow.
Just sitting there. I ate their weird Australian chocolate. All their weird... They had iced coffee from Australia, because every band can request something that they want that they call it a rider. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, is this really fucking happening right now? Like, I'm sitting here with these guys? Like, I've loved their music since before I could even fucking drive.
I feel like this happens to you a lot. You've met a lot of celebrities randomly.
Yes.
Like, when I started, I told you about Skrillex, like, oh, dude, I've met him.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? How?
Yeah. Yep, just right place at the right time, man. I feel like there's a reason I think I have a lot of karma, and we can get into that if you want. I don't know how long you want to go with this. But
chat, man. I'll cut out when I need to.
Anyway, so I took my phone, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to fucking go for it. I don't care if they get mad. They're from Australia. They'll never see me again. So I go up to their lead singer, or their bassist, I said, hey, you want to give me a drop for my podcast? He's like, what's that, mate? I'm like, you just say your name and hi, his name is Pies. Hi, this is Pies. You're listening to Full Slice Podcast. And he's like, all right, cool. And they gave it to him, whatever.
Get out.
And their lead singer is Winston. He's very reclusive, but he's very cool. Like, he's the icon of the band. So I asked my friend, I said, where's Winston? He's like, oh, he's in the tour bus. He plays Xbox before the show. You want to go out there and meet him? I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. So he takes us out, and we're walking through the parking lot, and there's all these people standing outside the bus just waiting for this Winston guy to come out to show his face.
Really?
Just waiting to get an autograph, and here we are walking with my buddy to go out there. We walk into the tour bus, and he goes, hey, Winston, this is my friend Kyle, and I had my buddy Don with me. This is his friend Don. They helped promote the show. They're big fans. They just wanted to come and say hi. So he's like, oh, yeah, I'm playing Overwatch. You want to play? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't have an Xbox. I don't know how to play Overwatch. So we're sitting there, and he's teaching us how to play, and I got a drop from him. This is Winston from Parkway Drive, and I have them all on my phone. I got one from him. I got all kind of RZA. I got all that shit. All that stuff.
Have you had RZA on the show yet?
No, not yet. He's gonna come on. He's very busy.
Yeah, he's a local guy. You know what I mean? For such a big celebrity, he's a local guy. Hopefully give you like an hour, give you or me an hour.
Very kind man.
Yeah.
Very kind person. He's done a lot for me.
Yeah, I met his son Mel a few times. I met two of his sons actually.
Understanding.
Yeah.
Don's a good guy. They're good. When they come in town, we jam.
Wait, who did you bring to my house? Okay. All right.
You met him. There's that when you met him? When I
met then.
Yeah.
And then I think... No, okay.
I brought Understanding to your house. We were just driving around. We were going through Millstone.
Yeah. And then I met Mel, and I thought I had met him before, but I guess not.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to Governor's Ball 2 years ago because I think Wu-Tang was there.
This year they were there. As well.
I think they did the last few years, and then something happened where I couldn't get to go. But I was also supposed to go the day that Chester Bennington killed himself. That night, that concert, I had tickets to go to that from RZA, from Mel, his son, and I. It was Blink-182, Linkin Park, and Wu-Tang. I'm like, that's my childhood. That's like my iPod from 2004. You know what I mean? Wow. How cool of a show would have that been? But that's a shame that what happened. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad that what happened with Chester Bennington. I think it's horrible when somebody decides to take their own life. But man, what a concert to miss out on.
I'm not lying, man. That's an insane concert.
I'm trying to think of who else we had on the show because I know we've had a lot of people. And the other thing I like to do, like you're doing right now with me, I have nothing to offer except maybe a life story here and there and what I'm doing with my podcast. But a lot of my buddy's a chef. Come on and tell us what a chef does.
Yeah.
My other friend, she has a successful YouTube makeup channel. We're like, all right, we got to do something for the girls. Have her on and come talk about it. You see passion and all these, the people around me are doing things. So I said, I have a way for you to come and talk about it. Maybe get more people into it. Why not? You're my friends. Let's do this.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's all about. It's all about just sharing that information. Like, how did you get there? That's the whole point of my show. It's what are you doing? How did you get there? And where are you going?
And where my thing now is I'm trying to just get products for advertisement, not cash. It's hard to go to Mo Lipschitz Auto Repair and be like, hey, give us some money, we'll talk about tires. It's not like that.
It's not like
but
that.
I go there and be like, hey, you know what? Put 2 tires on my car and we'll give you a plug. Like I got this box here, I had set out. These are all companies I've approached that want to do business or that want some involvement. Like Arizona Iced Tea sent me a huge box of stuff like from their customer relations department. And that's just groceries that I don't have to buy now. That's like money. You know what I mean? It's trading it for money. You know what I mean? I got like Turkey Hill. Next Monday I have to have my tonsils taken out. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go on a whim here. And I called Turkey Hill Ice Cream. I said, listen, here's my podcast. Check it out. I went up the ladder to their head of PR. I just kept calling, being the guy that wouldn't go away.
Sometimes you got to do that, I guess.
Not in a bad way, but I just said, hey, I want to talk to this person, that person, blah, blah, blah. Eventually I got to their head of PR, and I said to the woman, listen, I have a podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud. We have, a couple thousand subscribers. It's pretty good. Listen to the show, and if you want to help me out, I'm having a tonsillectomy. All my listeners want to know what ice cream I'm eating. If you guys want to be my ice cream for the show, here's my information. They sent me a big packet of all kinds of free everything, just coupon upon coupon. And I'm like, I wonder if Arizona Iced Tea will do it for me. So I reached out to all these people. Dude, I have so much stuff coming in the mail for me for these companies that are sponsoring my tonsillectomy. That's money I don't have to spend.
let's go. How did you start the podcast with your brother? Let's talk about that.
My brother went to radio school, and I've always had a passion for stand-up. You know, I've done my open mics, and I've done a lot of writing.
Or how's that been going?
I did a set not that long ago downtown, and it was funny. I walk up, the guy goes, no political talk, no cursing, and nothing vulgar.
So you walked out.
Yeah. So I said, well, there goes my set. No, I just ripped on Tennessee and made fun of that. But it's fun. I like it. I don't want to make money doing it. I just want to go up and like blow off steam in front of strangers.
That's a great way to do it.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah, I just made fun of rednecks.
Yeah, I feel like that's like there's comedians who have that gift, like Doug Stanhope.
I love Doug Stanhope.
He just goes up there and like just like blows off steam. Like, what is he pissed off about now? And have me make it funny.
I went up there. I had to change everything because I had a whole set written out, and it did involve cursing, and not cursing in my act, but I'm like, how you tell a joke. The punchline has to do with that. And I made fun of Tennessee. I made fun of kids' names nowadays, like how everybody's got a kid named Braden and Jaden and all that. And I said they all sound like they have peanut allergies.
Yeah, they're all gluten-free peanut allergies.
Yeah. We can't fight the Chinese. They have gluten all over them. But it's fun. It's something that I kind of keep on the back burner. If I find some good material and I can put together a 5 or 10 minute set, I'll go hit an open mic up. And the thing I've realized is I don't know any of those people. When I leave, they don't know who the hell I am. Say whatever you want.
Yeah, that's true. You don't even have to be funny. As long as you're doing it, man. Like that's the toughest part about anyone doing anything. So many people talk about what they want to do and how they're going to do this and how they're going to do that. And me being who I am, doing what I'm doing, I see in them that they can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh my God,
you can do it.
Yes.
So it frustrates and infuriates me to see someone not doing it. Like, if you can do it, I will give you anything you need to do it.
Yeah.
Like if you need money, if you need resources, if you need connections, like whatever it is, and then I just see these people that have all this potential. I'm like, yo, man, like, did you do? It's like I'll give you 80% of the work. You just have to do that 20%.
Yeah.
And they just don't even do that, and it's just like, fuck, like, how much more do I have to do to help?
But isn't it awesome though on the other end when you say you believe in somebody and you tell them, you know what, I think you're great. I think you can do this. I know you can do it, and they do it, and then they tell you thank you. Dude,
I have this one friend, man. Like, you're giving me chills just thinking about that. My one friend, Renee, who I'm going to have on the show. Me and her met because I was selling clothes in Morristown at a bar. And this girl comes up to my booth, and she's like, I need a shirt. So she bought, actually, the shirt I have on, a Tri-Vegan Star Wars shirt, I believe. She left one of her business cards because she did yoga trapeze at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, so we made a connection. We started talking, and me and her became good friends. And she worked for Hanes, ironically, in the city. And I own a screen printing company. So she gave me her login information to buy shirts at a discounted rate.
Oh, good.
And I'm talking to her, like, her story is amazing. She got into a car accident, injured her back. They said that she's going to need surgery on her back. And she didn't accept that. She just refused to accept that. And she looked for every single way to relieve her back pain. This girl couldn't even get out of bed to go to work. She saw this thing for yoga trapeze on Facebook. She clicked it. She liked it. She signed up for it. It healed her fucking back pain.
Wow.
She couldn't get out of bed, and it healed her back pain.
Get the fuck out of here.
So when I found that out, I said, yo, you need to quit your job and do this. Like, this is bigger than you.
Do that for somebody else. Yeah.
I mean, she already knew this. That's what she was doing. But she saw that I was around her age and I had quit my job and I was doing what I was doing, fulfilling my purpose. And she saw that she could do that. And dude, man, like every like month or so, she'll just remind me, like, Vincent, like, thank you so much.
Yeah,
like, you changed my life. And like those kind of thank yous, man, like, how do you even accept that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you even accept someone thanking you for changing their entire life?
I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about like, hey, man. Or, hey, can you try and motivate me to go to the gym today? Which is rewarding, too. I mean,
Yeah.
It's great when you... I think one of the greatest things in this world is helping somebody see how great they can be.
Yeah.
You ever meet somebody or talk to somebody that doesn't think that they're great, and you're like, what?
Dude, that's me.
What?
That's me when I was at ShopRite. That's me when I was at Walmart. That's me, like, I felt useless. You know?
Yeah.
I always thought I was smart.
Right.
I always thought that about myself. Not in an egotistical way, but I always saw myself as a little smarter than average.
Like,
you know what I
looking
mean?
in the mirror like, dude, you know shit.
Yeah, like, you're smart. You can figure shit out. And, like, to be locked into this box where I'm stuck in a retail position and then not to get hired for positions that weren't retail because I didn't have office training.
Right.
Like,
right.
I'm going to piss in the corner of a fucking office.
Right.
Like, what does office trained even mean?
Yeah.
And I just felt so useless and so defeated, you know? And I would cry in the office a lot, man. Like, you don't even know. Like, I would cry in the office because I just felt so useless and so unneeded. And then I had this epiphany for this Try Vegan, and I knew I had to go for it.
Yeah.
I knew I had to go for it. And the goals I had when I started, which was 2 trucks and clothing, and to do one music festival in like 2 or 3 years, one music festival. Dude, to be able to have those goals and then exceed them within 2 years, it's like, holy shit, what the fuck can I do now?
Yeah.
Like, what am I capable of now?
Yep.
Like, it blew the lid off of what I thought I was capable of.
Yeah.
And what everyone else thought I was capable of.
Yep. That's like when I kind of had a pivotal point in my life. I was in nonprofit most of earlier in my career. I was working with people that had disabilities, and I worked my way up to management. I was managing group homes, and I thought to myself, "This is cool. It's really rewarding, but where do I go now? I've hit the high point. I want to do more." Like, it was the time. The money was great, but the time I had to put in was ridiculous.
Wasn't it worth it though? Or
no.
How was it? What was it? What was that
it was
profession like?
It was rewarding working with people with disability. I went beyond what my job was supposed to do. I put my own money into jobs. I would buy guys food that I knew that they liked. I would take them places they weren't really supposed to go, but I knew that they liked.
That's awesome.
And my heart kind of got in the way.
That's the thing when you have those positions, man, where people are damaged, and they need help, and you're a kind soul, and so they open up to you, and you give and receive this information. You know what I mean? Like, you give this help, but it hurts. Like, you know what I mean? It's a
I had
burden.
to get out of it.
Yeah,
I had to get
tough.
out of it. I left. I got up to the highest position I could get, and I said, I can't do this anymore. I love these guys to death. I said, but the time I'm putting in, I'm losing my mind. So I had an epiphany. I said, I looked at my dad. My dad's the most blue collar guy in the world. He builds hot rods in the winter, and he's a farmer in the summer. You know, he runs Gasco's, one of the biggest farms in this half of the country. They own so much property, and he's in charge of it. Yeah. And my dad's the shit, dude. He made a whole great life for me growing up by doing welding and farming and tractor repair and everything. And I said, I want to learn a trade. So I finished up at Mercer College for engineering. I learned AutoCAD, which is blueprinting and stuff like that. And I go to all these local companies that do engineering by my house in Allentown when I still lived with my parents. And I went to the place and I said, hey, I'm looking for a job. I'll start start at the bottom, sweeping the floors, but I want to learn to weld. I want to build stuff. I want to do this. This is what I want to do. I idolize Jesse James, who also has sponsored the podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Early on, you were telling me about that.
Talked to him. He sent us a whole bunch of shit. But anyway, that's besides the point. So I go to this company and I tell the guy, I said, I want to, I'd like to work here, blah, blah, blah. Just another company that said, we're not hiring. And I said, here's my name. They looked at my name and they said, Is your dad Henry? I said, yeah. He goes, all right, that changes a few things. I said, my dad beat this guy up in high school or something, He goes, your father started this company 30 years ago.
You didn't even know?
No.
Oh, my God.
Started this company 30 years ago with a friend. And my dad had gotten out of the company. He got screwed over. The guy messed him up with money and stuff. And I never really knew this. And he goes, your dad hired me when I was in high school to sweep the floor. And now I own the company. That was a life-changing moment.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
What an unbelievable thing. What an unbelievable,
turn of events.
Twist of fate, yeah. Like karma, just your dad did something great, you needed help, and
yeah.
Oh my God. I can't believe you didn't know.
Yeah, and I went to my dad, I said, Dad, what happened with RAS process equipment? He goes, well, how do you know about that?
Damn.
And I said, I just talked to, I'm not going to say my boss's name or anything, but he goes, he owns the place? I said, yeah. He goes, you got to be kidding me. So he took me, the owner took me out in the shop and introduced me to another guy. He goes, hey, this is Henry Seip's son. And this guy goes, oh my God, your dad hired me when I was a little kid, 17-year-old kid. Now I'm the manager of the shop. Wow. So these guys, they didn't hand me a position and just give me money and to work. They said, we'll give you a chance, just like your dad did. Prove yourself. They, sent me to school. I learned how to weld. Now I'm part of a group of people that build tanks for Fortune 500 companies. DuPont, Sunoco, 3M, all that stuff. Wow. And it changed my life. Dude, it gave me where we're at right now. It's an apartment, but it's in the middle of the country. It's beautiful out here.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's nice spot.
You know? It's weird how things work. So how are we doing here on time?
We're doing great, man. I figure what we're going to do is I love this last part. I love this last 10 minutes. Like, that's kind of the direction I want to head as far as this goes.
Okay. Yeah, that's...
So you're still welding?
Yeah, welding, machining, doing all kinds of metal stuff.
Yes.
Shit with the hands.
Yeah, so you and your brother started this podcast, and since then, you guys have had 50 episodes, all different kinds of, tell me about some of the people you got on the show that you wouldn't expect. I mean, you told me about athletes and all that. Well, tell me about someone who had an interesting story that you wouldn't have expected.
Well, when I was a kid, there was this old man that sat outside. His name was Larry, and I'd go talk to him. And he had the most interesting perspectives. He grew up in England during World War II, and the guy had a horrible life growing up. He turned it into a great life. And his little philosophies on things changed the way I thought growing up. And I remember I was going for my first job, and I went up and he goes, how'd you make out? You're looking for jobs. And I say, man, they don't want me. They only want people with experience. I'm not going to work anywhere. I'll just work, I'll go work at the library or something like that. He goes, if you knock on 1,000 doors that you want to go into, one of them's going to open. So I thought, okay.
Or you'll bust one down.
Right? That's good. That's my cat. Another life-changing moment. So anyway, that with the podcast, you know how many emails I've sent to people that I haven't gotten any return from? Tons.
Yeah.
Tons. But the ones that I got back were pretty cool. We had the guy from CKY on. Remember the band CKY?
Yeah. They had a show. I think they had a show too, no?
Yeah. They had DVDs.
Yeah, sure.
It was cool. We had him on. All kinds of stuff. Who else did we have? I can't even remember. It sucks. Every once in a while, I'll put out a thing on Facebook. I'll say, hey, does anybody have anything they want to promote, like for the greater good of the community? And people reach out with like a ministry or something like that. It's cool. But it's also funny to see what people want from you.
On a show?
In the beginning, I had people that had businesses and stuff that I said, hey, you want to come on the podcast? I was like, nah, I don't really want to. I had a guy reach out to me that's like, hey, man, your podcast is doing pretty good. I'd love to come in and talk about my business.
Oh, really?
I'm like, now you want to come in and talk about your business. In the beginning, you didn't want to come on when we were offering it to you because we thought what you were doing is cool.
Yeah.
Now you want to come in and promote and get all this free advertising? No. This is how much it's going to cost you if you want to be the star of an episode. So now I'm in negotiations with them with trying to parlay some goods and services out of them. But
that's funny. Yeah, that happened to me. I when I started the food truck, I was a vegan food truck. No one wanted me.
Yeah.
I mean, no one wanted me.
Yeah.
Plus, I was just starting. So
I tried to get you to go to Preston and Steve too. Remember, they're like, "Oh, we don't know about that."
Yeah.
Maybe Pierre.
I mean, so it just didn't pan out. In the beginning. So I would reach out to all these places. You want a vegan food truck, knocking on those doors, just as you were saying.
Yeah.
And thank God one of them opened, but the one I'm talking about in particular didn't open. And I got an email from them 2 days ago, and they're like, hey, we're looking for a vegan truck for our events. Would you want to reach out? This, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, wow, like it's so amazing how it's funny because I thought, wow, they finally caught up.
Right.
And I was thinking how ironic it was that my name is Catching Up with Vince.
There you go.
And like I thought about the name Catching Up with Vince. It's me and you catching up. Kyle, I haven't seen you in a while. What's been going on?
Yep.
But then I said it to my brother, and he goes, oh, like Keeping Up with the Kardashians?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but the polar opposite.
Yeah,
like
really,
the polar
really.
opposite as like a human being, a soul on this planet. Like everything I'm doing is the complete opposite
everything's
of that.
actually, you're earning your keep.
Yeah, and then, yeah, what the fuck was I about to say? And then,
Thinking of names.
Oh, so Catching Up with Vince. So then I realized people just need to catch up with me, kinda. You know what I mean? Like veganism is the future. Like all these things that I was the first person with a smartphone.
Yeah.
Back when it was a Windows phone.
Yeah.
You flipped open the keyboard and typed on it. That was back in college. That was freshman year of college. So that had to be 2006. I had the HTC 8125. I could play Sega on it, Nintendo on it. I could open up Word documents and Excel documents.
Wow.
Yeah, right? Wow.
Wow.
And I'm showing my friends, and they're like, if I need to use that, I'll have a computer.
Yeah, get out of
here,
loser.
Literally senior year, they finally all had iPhones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they finally all caught up, and I'm just like, I didn't say anything. Like, I'm not like type, oh, but like, it's like, idiot. Like, I just want to flick him in the forehead. Like, that's all I want. Just
don't you wish you could go back to high school? Oh my gosh, that would be a lot different if I went back.
Dude, high school. So high school for me, I had no friends in high school. I really didn't have a group of friends, and then I didn't really have a friend that I hung out with at home. So it was kind of really weird because I felt, dude, it sucked, man.
I did. I had a little group.
Yeah, with me, it was like I would go, like, you remember first thing in the morning, everyone would just congregate somewhere. Like, all the friends would congregate in pockets.
We would play hacky sack in third hall with all the seniors.
Yeah, I saw that. But I'm talking about like freshman, junior, and junior year, before you're a senior and showing up super late and running to class. I would like find groups of people to hang out with, and then eventually, but I would always be outside of the circle because like they would talk about what they did the weekend and this, that, and the other thing, and I would hang out with them, but like in that group, but I wasn't part of that group. And then eventually they'd kind of like not even acknowledge my existence anymore. So I'd kind of just like go to another group. Yeah. And then eventually I just started hanging out with like kids younger than me. Yeah. And I'm kind of just like, fuck. Like, you know what I mean? And I would go home at night and like I don't want to get into it now, but like I wasn't depressed. It definitely affected me. It definitely affected me not having a friend or not having a group of friends, and it would just really fuck with me. But at the same time, I was so okay with being myself. Like, it really taught me, like, just be you, man. Like,
you're your only true friend.
I really appreciated my company, my hobbies, everything that I do. Because, like, now in life, like, I'll just be alone. Yeah. I mean, like, I could just go on vacation and be alone. Yeah. And I just love myself. Yeah. You know?
I've done it, man. I drove 900-something miles once just to Tennessee by myself. Yeah. On my own. I loved it. High school was fun. I liked it. I had some friend groups.
Did you drink or smoke in high school?
Depends who's asking. My parents ask? No. Well, man, I did, yes. I smoked cigarettes and I drank. I didn't smoke weed. I didn't really get into that. The group
you never really were. Your group was into weed, right? You were...
Kind of, a little bit. But, like, my dad was cool about it. He'd be like, keep a blanket in your car in case, you know. And my mom's like, yeah, if you break down and it's cold. My dad was always the cool one. I would call his cell phone if I was drinking at somebody's house. Like, hey, I'm going to sleep over. Because I bought my own cars. I had my own insurance and everything when I was in high school, so my parents couldn't really hold it over my head. I kind of just did what I want. I had 3 jobs.
You were the oldest, right?
Yeah. I had 3 cars my senior year, dude. I was doing it my own thing. Yeah. So I would call my dad. I'd be like, Dad, I'm at my friend's house. I had a little too much to drink. Just tell Mom we're playing video games. I'm sleeping over. He's like, all right, no problem. Then the next morning I get home. He's like, hey, how was video games last night? It was fun. It was good. My mom's like, oh, it's fun. You know, you have your friends. She never caught on. Never knew.
Yeah, it's funny because I never did that. You know what I mean? 1, I didn't have friends. 2, my parents were I was the first child, and like they didn't want me to do. I'm not rebellious. You know what I mean? So I wasn't going out and doing these things anyway. So I never really had the opportunity to do that.
I was extremely rebellious. I don't know if you remember with me getting my parking spot taken away.
No, what happened?
I bought a truck, a 2-wheel drive, a Chevy truck, and a couple kids were ragging on it because it wasn't 4-wheel drive. I'm like, we don't live in the Everglades. I don't need a 4-wheel drive truck. I live in Allentown. Yeah. And they were like, I probably can't even do a burnout. And I lit up the new senior park.
Because weren't there a few kids just burning out?
Yeah, but not after senior lot was built. After senior lot was built, if you did that, you were in a lot of trouble. And I did it the first day they got it paved. They put all the parking spots up, and I burned out all over them. I got in a lot of trouble for that. Street racing with my Camaro. It was fun. I don't regret all of that stuff. What I don't regret is being a little bit more academically conscientious of what I was doing. Like, I'm like, I don't need to know that shit. Nah, I'm never gonna need that.
You really don't. You know what I mean? Like, you really don't. Like,
they don't teach you what you need to know. They don't teach you taxes. They don't teach you, how to survive your first major heartbreak. That's something they should teach you in school.
Your first major heartbreak. Wow, that's such a great thing. Wow.
Can you imagine your teacher teaching you that in school? Your first major, like not when you're an adult, but when you're 18 years old. Yeah. You're like, there she is. That's my girlfriend forever.
Dude, that's like a brilliant idea. They should teach like lifestyle, like some kind of lifestyle class.
How to talk to adults.
How to talk to people.
How to make eye contact when you talk to people. How to articulate what you want when you're speaking to somebody. Yeah. That's what they should teach. Communication is huge. With a relationship, with dating, what is it without good communication?
Dude, a lot of people don't. Here's the issue with communication. Everyone inside knows what they're trying to communicate outside, but they don't know the perspective outside has on what they're saying.
Right.
So it gets misinterpreted
all the time.
Like
and text messaging totally ruined that.
Text messaging and Facebook messaging are the two worst ways to communicate. You see people posting on message forums. The first message might be no problem. You know what I mean? Like someone just says something that may be a differing opinion, but someone else comes in thinking they're arguing, and then it just blows out of proportion.
Absolutely. Your intent is never displayed perfectly through texting, ever.
Let me share with you something that I posted on Facebook.
Sounds good.
So, here's what I posted on Facebook. You tell me what you think. I said, flu shots are free at drugstores. What we know about vaccines is that they are, at the very least, a mild form of the virus meant to help our bodies produce antibodies from the virus, while at their very worst, a toxic cocktail of poison being pumped directly into the bloodstream. Wherever you stand on that spectrum, at the very least, a shot is going to make you feel unwell for the next few days. Because of this, you then have to go back to these stores and buy the medicine to deal with the symptoms of whatever they just pumped into you at a huge markup, especially if you buy the store brand. Now with our eyes open to this thought, I think we should try thinking for ourselves with an open mind next time they try to say what's good for us. A lot of people got it. A lot of people, I support you. So my friend posted a link about Target offering $5 coupons for people who get the flu shot.
What?
Reiterating,
I've never had any flu shot or anything.
Reiterating my point. So someone goes, a flu shot has no reason to make you feel ill. The virus is completely dead. Okay, if that's what you believe, okay.
Yeah, what do you have to back that up with, though?
So then someone else said, this isn't true. Where are your sources? Sources? My head exploded.
Yeah.
Sources for what? What facts did I give?
Nothing. You gave a spectrum.
I gave a whole entire. Whether you believe what it actually is, which is the mild form of the virus, or maybe dead, which doesn't get you sick, which would get you sick, whatever. So I said in the clearest way possible, I apologize. My intention was not to stir up emotions or strike a nerve with anyone. All these people, someone actually commented, this is the most difficult thing you could talk about on Facebook. Vaccines. Vaccines. Because that's what it became. And I'll show you what I said. I apologize. My intention was not to stir up emotion or strike a nerve with anyone. I was just trying to open minds to a different perspective. I, along with the students I grew up with, going to health classes with, were taught throughout school that vaccines were weakened versions of the virus which allowed our bodies to heal themselves by producing antibodies to fight off the virus if we ever come across it again. Through my own research, I have found that there are also nasty things like mercury and metals that don't belong into our bodies inside these vaccines. I reiterate, regardless of where you stand on the spectrum, your body is going to be fighting off a foreign substance to your body which leads to symptoms such as lethargy, fever, and nausea. These are all symptoms which are relieved by medicines which are sold by these places, providing free flu shots. I'm just connecting dots.
Yeah.
So you think that would end?
Right.
That kicked it into high fucking gear.
Oh God.
I got another. Look at this. I got another 4 or 5 messages from people. One person. Oh my God. This kind of got me upset. He said, denying the overwhelming amount of evidence that shows vaccines do more good than harm is not the same as thinking for ourselves. Flat earthers are not woke. Climate change deniers are not freedom fighters. Anti-vaxxers are not free thinkers.
Oh, God, don't even... Oh, my God.
Your blood's boiling.
Oh, my God.
Your blood's boiling and my blood's boiling. Because that's not even...
He called you a flat earther.
That hurt me so bad because he lumped me into another category of crazy people when what I said wasn't even crazy.
Get out of here with your moon made of cheese.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, right? No one said that. My thing with global warming is that it's been proven that we're messing up the atmosphere.
And then he goes, also, just because people are making money off of it doesn't mean it's some sort of conspiracy.
That's kind of the definition.
So I said, I think a lot of people are projecting an opposing viewpoint on my original post when there was no point that I was making. But because they want vaccines and they're for it, here's the thing, man. The vaccination issue is so intimate because no one wants to believe that they were duped. especially with something so intimate where you're injecting a vial that you don't even know that's inside. So if you're for it and you're getting this vaccine, you don't want to believe that they're poisoning you. You know,
well, the argument goes, well, did they have vaccinations in the 1850s? Well, no, but they had tuberculosis and mumps and everything. Well, is that vaccine for tuberculosis and mumps? No, it's not. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, right.
Right.
That was the argument they were making.
I love the arguments like this. I don't get into them. I like to watch them and just plan in my head what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's too. There's so much like venom just online.
Oh yeah.
There's just so many people just want to like. Here's the thing: we're geared from first thing in the morning to just be pissed off all day.
Yeah.
Because I am oblivious. I know nothing about politics. I know nothing about sports. I know nothing about anything. I know that they exist, but I'm oblivious to them.
Right.
So I go to the gym, right? In front of me, there's just TVs and there's no audio. All I see on CNN are 4 faces split on the screen, just scowling.
Yeah.
Just like scowling at each other, just arguing. And that, if you have that on your TV first thing in the morning, that's setting the tone for the rest of your day.
I don't watch any news. I've never, ever been a proponent for the news.
Right?
Ever.
Not only the news, though, but sports. You know what I mean? Like, you have someone who likes whatever the fuck team, and they have someone who likes whatever the other team is. And they're also just
yelling
at
I'm the opposite of that. I'm a fantasy player. I do DraftKings. I do DraftKings basketball, hockey, and football. I like the Eagles. I'm glad they're going to the Super Bowl. But I can't, like you could literally say, Tom Brady's a piece of shit. He's horrible. No, he's not. They won 7 Super Bowls. Just because you don't live in New England doesn't mean that he's a bad football player.
It always bothers me when people who are doing nothing with their lives critique these people who've achieved things that they would never dream of.
Oh yeah, where's your glass house? This guy's a Super Bowl ring earner.
Yeah, do you like what is your accomplishment?
Right.
What, aside from sitting in front of the TV and drinking beer, like, have you even ever played a sport?
Right.
That's the thing. Like, I was as a child, I would play sports. You know what I mean? But I could never watch sports even as a kid.
No.
Because it made me want to play. Like, I wanted to play. So these people haven't even played sports in their whole life, and you can tell.
Yeah.
Yet they have the wherewithal, or not the wherewithal, they have the gall.
Yeah.
To pass judgment on the people who are at the peak of their careers.
Yeah. That's just somebody that would be like, lead follower, get out of the way. It's the same people. As far as sports goes with me, I like all of it. If I can make a little money off of it, let's do it. You know what I mean? I like sports as a whole. I like hockey. Do I like the Flyers? Yeah, I love the Flyers. But could I sit and watch Detroit play fucking St. Louis? Yeah, if it's a good game, it's fun. It's like anything in life. If it's fun, who cares what anybody thinks?
It's funny to me because I watch. It's like sports are child's games. Adults as a whole, like there are always exceptions to the rule, but adults don't play sports. I mean, children play sports.
Right.
So it's like these adults are watching adults play kid games. It's like and then not only that, these adults are watching these adults play kid games with another man's jersey on their back.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, it's bizarre.
Sounds like something a drunk person would do.
A drunk person? Yeah, it's a drunk decision, right?
You know, it's really funny because we were talking about kids and their corny names. The other thing I was saying is everybody gets a trophy nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's so horrible because it's like, I don't know. My dad was my baseball coach growing up. If you missed a hit, you'd be like, "What are you doing, Vince? Get out there, get a hit. Come on, Kyle, lay one down." Now they're like, "Aiden, just do your best." You know what I mean? The winning team got ice cream. Your dad'd be like, "You see why they got ice cream? Because they won."
Well, they're trying to feminize our men.
Oh my God!
I mean? Like they're definitely trying to feminize our men. They're trying to make it so that we're more peaceful. It's funny because I see that. You know what I mean? And like I'm as peaceful as they fucking come.
I am.
So like,
I am too.
Am I that? But like, there's no aggression in me. So like, did they do this to me, or am I just this kind of person? Like, am I what they want? But I'm also spreading knowledge and information, which is not what they want.
No, the opposite.
It's funny because I told my brother about this podcast, and I told him how I started talking about like I'm gonna start talking about like healthy food and how to heal your body and this that and that thing. My brother's like, they're gonna kill you.
Yeah, they're gonna eat you alive.
He's like, they're going to kill you. And I said, as long as I spark more, lights, they can't kill everyone.
I'm having this recent epiphany that, I'm a blue collar guy. I get my clothes on, I get my grinder, and I'm cutting metal and everything like that. And I have this thing in my head that that it's okay to cry.
Definitely.
I have never been okay with it. I've never been okay with people seeing it.
Oh man.
I've never been okay with people. I don't know how to even, like, if I cry, I can't breathe. I like have to go to the hospital. Like,
You just don't know how to process it?
But I want to be okay with it, and I'm embarrassed, and I have to have this tonsillectomy, right? We're getting into an intimate side of this. And Christy is taking me to get my tonsils taken out. I told her I'm afraid to come out of anesthesia and cry. Because when I had my hernia surgery, my mom said I was crying when I came out of anesthesia, and I have no control over that.
Anesthesia, you're not even awake yet.
No. So I told her, I said, I'm embarrassed. Like, I'm afraid to cry. Like, I don't want you to see me cry. She goes, you're having an operation. You're coming out of anesthesia. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I said, no, I don't know why. I want to be okay with it.
It's gotta be growing up in such a blue collar environment in Allentown with a pickup truck, a Camaro.
Yeah.
It wasn't okay in your crowd. You know, it just wasn't okay. So you just haven't done it.
Yeah.
Like, were you ever at a funeral for a family member?
When my grandfather died, I almost died, I couldn't handle it. I didn't know what to do.
Exactly. You probably just didn't know.
I couldn't even process it.
Like, physically, you just didn't know. Like, did you cry or no?
Yeah, I did a lot.
So you did. So you know what it's like.
I know how to cry. I've cried before, but I don't like other people seeing it. I see it as a sign of weakness, and this year, as of the last few months, I've been learning that it's not. And that it's okay.
Not crying is a sign of weakness. Because not crying shows that you're afraid to show your true emotion. Crying is powerful. Crying is strong.
Yeah.
Crying is like, as a man, it's like you don't care what other people think.
Yeah.
It's like the strongest thing you can do.
And you've known me for how long? That's my flaw. I don't care what anyone thinks.
Yeah, that's what's so weird about it.
I've never cared. But I told her, I was like, I'm scared of that. She's like, that's the furthest thing from my mind. She goes, I would never. Do you think I'm going to judge you crying coming out of anesthesia? And I there's way bigger fish to fry.
It's beautiful, man. Crying is like feeling the most emotion you can. You know what I mean? Like, I've cried out of sadness, and within the past 2 years, man, I've cried out of gratitude so many times. Like, I was driving home from Orlando with my food truck after crushing it in EDC, and I'm just driving home with my friends, and I'm just in this food truck, and I'm not at fucking ShopRite, and I'm just like crying, man, just like crying. Like, I cannot believe that I am here. I cannot, like, dude, I was at Governor's Ball. I just randomly left, and I just randomly went to some random stage. I didn't even know who was playing.
Right. And
then all of a sudden they played this song that I've been listening to all year, and I just started fucking crying.
Good.
Like, I just started crying these tears, and I wasn't sad. Like, I was kind of smiling. People were just, like, looking at me, you know what I mean? But, like, it's normal. You know what I mean? Because most people are on drugs, and, you know, you do cry at those things, but...
I got a little emotional the other day. I bought my first car that I didn't have to have my dad co-sign on. I think this is either car 10 or 11 for me.
Nice.
And I've only bought one of those cars at a dealership, like a brand new, like you have to get a loan and all that. Mm-hmm. And my dad had to co-sign for it. I bought it in 2009. I had no credit.
True.
Every other car since then has been a used car, $2,500 cash, $3,000 cash, whatever. I went to the dealership. I bought this car 100% myself. Did it over the phone. And I'm going to be 30 this year. It's not an accomplishment. But at the same time, for me, it is.
Yeah, it's something new.
You know, I called him. I said, this is how much I want to spend on a car. This is what I want, blah, blah, blah. And I did everything. And I texted my dad. And I said, Dad, I did it without you. I finally, you know, the circle is complete. And I tried to have this nice little intimate moment through texting. Now that my father can text, you know, big fat farming fingers texting on his iPhone. And he goes, you didn't do it without me. I said, why? He goes, you wouldn't have gotten your job if it wasn't for me. And if you didn't have your job, you wouldn't have got your car. And I'm thinking to myself, you son of a bitch.
Right,
you know, but he texted me back. He goes, no, you know what? I'm proud of you. I'm happy. You know, I'm glad you like it.
That's awesome, man.
You know, so that's kind of a big thing. I mean, I got a good deal on the car. It's a nice car, but I finally, it was like the next step in doing, being independent and everything like that. You know what I mean? It was a big day, and I didn't cry, but I was like, there's a little lump right there. You know, I did it. You know.
Yeah, you felt. That's great.
You know, I was able to buy a used car with no money down and no trade in.
Yeah.
And that's good. Yeah, that cat was a fucking gift to me. That thing's changed my life. She was a part of that hurricane down in Florida. Then they moved her up to North Carolina. All their shelters filled up, and they brought her up here, and I adopted her. But I thought, you know what? I have this place. I have this house. I make good money. I could have a cat and give it a good life and take care of it, the shelters are filled up, man.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess if you can give anything a good life, then you're doing good. Like, you're giving all these people a philosophy of what they should do and how they should live and eat, and I'm taking care of this cat, man. It's all full circle.
Yeah, I've never had an animal.
Never?
Like, I've never had an animal in my life, and that's what's so funny about it. Like, people are like, you're vegan and you never had a pet?
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, but like, if an animal's an asshole, an animal's an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, some dogs will like step on your toe and like move out of the way and like step somewhere else. There are other dogs just trounce on your feet.
Right.
And it's like, you're an asshole dog. You know what I mean? I'm not petting you.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, I don't have unconditional love for everything. It's like, if you're a good being, I like you.
Yeah.
But killing animals is bullshit to eat them, in my opinion.
Right.
It's unnecessary. It's
I have
just
5 pounds of smoked bacon in my fridge. We're not going to touch base on this angle.
I mean, listen, man, I would love to speak about it, because like I will never pressure anyone to do anything. I will never pressure anyone to do anything.
You fall into that category, the very 1% of vegans that doesn't have to be like pushy about it.
Let me tell you, from being in the circle, that's most of us at this point. Like, the vegan movement started with people that are like militant, you know what I mean? But like, now it's more like we're the norm. You know what I mean? Like, people like me are like the norm, where it's like, if you want the information, I got it. I'll give you some information if you have a question.
Right.
But I am not shoving it down your throat. I mean, I'm in your face at this point. Like, Try Vegan is blowing up, you know, but it's like, I'm not an aggressive PETA.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what I was aspiring to be with this whole Try Vegan when I had the idea. Like, I want to be the vegan that you're friends with. I don't want to be the vegan throwing paint on fur. Because if you're throwing paint on fur, you're alienating your cause.
Right.
Like, you're creating an enemy. I completely and utterly understand why someone would do that. Right. Totally. But the person wearing the fur doesn't. They just think you're a piece of shit. And then I found out PETA has been using my trademark, Try Vegan. They're saying, hey, Try Vegan. So I emailed them. I don't want money from them, but like, I'd like to talk to them. You know what I mean? Like, you're big. I'd like to get big. Let's chat. Yeah,
you're well known. I want to be well known. Let's figure this out.
It's funny because they had this thing. This girl messaged me. She's like, hey, PETA's having this thing called the Sexiest Vegan next door. And I'm like, all right, that's interesting. And like, I'm thinking, I have a shot. Yeah. You know, I'm not ugly, and they're not looking for hot guys. They're just looking for a guy next door. I'm kind of a guy next door. So I told them a little bit about my story. I'm doing this. I got 2 food trucks, got a clothing line. And they picked some college kid who eats vegan and works at a vegan restaurant.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
I wasn't even a finalist.
You're a couple of houses down still.
That's funny.
Oh, man. Dude, this has been fun. I liked this. I got to hit the grocery store at some point.
Yeah, true. I got to work out. I mean, we can call it a day.
Yeah, dude, this is good.
All right, how do I wrap this up?
You've been hanging out with Kyle. Listen to Full Slice Podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud, and look for Vince at the next EDM festival.
Yeah, that's one way to close it. So yeah, it's been a great show. Kyle, thank you, man.
Welcome.
Like, it's been great having you on, and I look forward to chatting with you in the future. You got anything else you want to promote?
Nah, nothing really. I mean, just, check episodes and, try to do something good for somebody.
Yeah, Full Slice Podcast. Check it out. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Hey, if you want to catch up with Vince on your own, then you need to visit catchingupwithvince.com.